I'm Rhys Corbishly and you're watching me on Run Forest Run TV. I'm Rhys Corbishly, I'm a professional triathlete and I live in Bondi. I grew up in Balmain, Sydney. My parents got me into sports at an early age. It was rugby, soccer, cricket, ice hockey, just to see anything I was good at. And I stuck with rugby pretty much my whole life until my late 20s. After that, it was a bit of a 2-year gap where I didn't do much, trying to figure out what I wanted to do. I ended up doing a triathlon for the first time. I would have been 29. It was my first triathlon being an Ironman in Cairns. Didn't enjoy it. I enjoyed the process of training, but I found it really tough. I got sucked back in the following year to do another one and it went really well. And from there, coaches reach out and from there it sort of rolled on to now being in my early 30s and racing professionally, mainly in the long distance stuff. I enjoy it a lot, but it's obviously comes with a lot of challenges, being the swim, which has always been my main focus recently to get better at. Being such a tough sport, you've got to be good in the swim to be competitive at the top end these days. So yeah, I really enjoy it, but it's one of those things where it's going to be a slow process to get a lot better. So going to rugby school, basically it's all you played, or cricket in the summer. And I remember always wanting to do triathlon because there's so many options for sport. There's actually a guy that went to my school that's still doing really well in triathlon, Mike Phillips. So it's kind of funny, like didn't know him really well at all then. I knew of him, but never took it up to do triathlon. I was always a half decent runner, did cross country in my younger years, and was pretty good at it. But I did rugby straight out of school, kept going, and then it's kind of funny how it's just become a bit of an accident, falling into triathlon and then getting pushed to go into the professional scene, I guess, of it. And now racing Mike twice and become good mates with him actually through it. He obviously still beats me, but it's kind of funny. It's been such a 15 plus year gap where he's been doing the sport and I've been playing rugby, and now I've just come full circle back to racing him. I get trained by Clint Rawlings from Coffs Harbour, so I'm an RPG athlete. A typical week for me in terms of distance, I'll try on a big week between 25 to 30 hours considering work, so it'll be around 20 k's of swimming, close to 500 k's of biking, and somewhere between 80 to 100 k's of running, and then getting some gym in there as well. Being based in Bondi, running my own business there means I'll have to start early in the morning. So there's usually a 4 in the alarm. I usually have 2 sessions, sometimes 3 a day. So it'll be morning, get to work, afternoon, bedtime. Sometimes I work from home, so it's easy to get some extra stuff done. But all the long sort of hours are done on the weekend. So Saturday, Sunday, and then Wednesday usually work from home. So I'll get like some long stuff done there on the bike. It is always sometimes tough there. Like some people don't really train for Ironman, so trying to find those groups. I always have a couple of guys that I work with, which is pretty good. But being in the city, you always got to go and venture out either down south or north, which can be a bit tricky, but most of it's done weekends anyway, so it's pretty sweet. So 2021, my brother and I wanted to sign up for the Port Macquarie Half, being our first triathlon ever. That got cancelled. I can't remember if it was COVID or it was floods, but they got cancelled and we trained a little bit for it. Then he decided he was never going to do it. So I signed up that year actually for the Cairns Ironman. So I ended up doing a full Ironman instead, but being my first. That was a big sufferfest in the heat. It was good to tick it off the list and then did nothing after that. And a full year later, my friends told me to come and do Port Macquarie. It took a lot of not begging, they did took them a while to get me to come do it, and I finally agreed I'd do it. Didn't really want to, and I ended up qualifying for Kona through that. Did Kona, met my first coach, Clint Rawlings from Coffs Harbour. He did 2 months with me, I think, before Kona. I finished Kona, and I think that was me done again. It was pretty tough, sort of suffered like I did in Cairns. Then the following year, he just told me to get back into it, and that's probably where I started winning all the sort of age group stuff in the 70.3, sort of veering back into Ironman. So he made me sort of enjoy getting back into sport, getting nervous before races, that feeling I used to have when I played rugby was kind of cool, so I thought I'd keep going with it. And then 2024, I had a pretty decent year and won the Australian overall age group at Port Macquarie. And that sort of rolled into, I guess, this year being my first year professional triathlon. Had a decent start to the year, and then it took a toll on me towards the end of the year, so I'm sort of keen to get back next year and have a proper crack at it. Like anyone, I think I'd like to go to a World Championships or qualify. I've done it as an age grouper, but seeing how hard it is as a pro now, I'd love to go to Kona and race against the best guys there. I guess that's always been a new dream of mine, so it'd be nice. I think being so old, I guess starting old in the sport, only being in it for a few years, every time I'm doing training or doing a training block, I seem to be getting better, so I'm pretty keen to see my potential there and how much better I can get at it. And so if that means doing well at a World Championship or not, it'd be cool to see how far I can go with it. So I've mainly stuck to the long distance stuff, being Ironman and 70.3. I've done the odd Olympic distance, like at Noosa, just for fun with mates. But this year being my first year as a pro, mainly focused on Ironman distance. So the first one was Taupo in New Zealand. That was a good eye-opener for me. Just going from age group racing where it's not so, impacted by the group dynamics, whereas obviously the professional field is. So getting out of with really being by myself in the middle somewhere, just riding solo, it was interesting. I realised pretty quickly you need to be it's all group-based dynamics. I still went all right. Wasn't completely happy with it. I don't think I ever am, but it was a good learning experience for me. Then from there, I would have had Cairns Ironman, I believe. Again, got caught out on my own, but managed to ride myself back to a good spot and then run really well. So I had a decent day there for one of the Pro Series races. So it was, end of the day, I was pretty happy with that. Didn't start well, but finished pretty strong. Carried my fitness over to New York. So there was another Pro Series race in Lake Placid. Went over there, don't know what happened, got really crook, lined up and talked to my coach, Clint, pre-race. I was like, I'm pretty busted here. I was on the toilet most of the week, fevers, wasn't sleeping. And then he just said, look, just go out and race, see what happens. And I think I pulled the plug about 5 minutes in. I was just empty. So that was a bit disappointing going all the way over there. Came back, had a bit of a break. Now, where did I go from there? I went and then I went to Malaysia, did a bit of a 4-week trip overseas. So I did Malaysia into Arizona. So it was a 70.3 into an Ironman 2 weeks apart. So I trained hard for Arizona, basically using Arizona as a bit of a prep race for it, I guess. So fair bit of travel. Went all right at Malaysia, wasn't great being in an Ironman block, and then went to Arizona and completely shit the bed, basically. It just had a shocker. I don't know what to say. It was probably the worst race of the year for me, but it was a good learning experience to see all the Americans there, all the top guys and some of the best Europeans. So, watching them race, it was interesting to see how quick they go, and I guess another learning experience for me. I did also sprinkle in a few little races in between, but those are the main races I stuck to. For 2026, I've only got 2 races locked in so far. First one being in Taupo, being the first Pro Series race of the year. And then definitely Cairns. I love Cairns. So that's middle of the year. Nothing based around any of those yet. So unsure whether I'll go overseas or not. I was pretty fortunate this year to go overseas a couple of times and then do a bit of training in Hawaii as well. So I was very lucky there. So maybe this year might be a bit more local. And then following that, I'll go and do some overseas stuff in Europe and chase those other big races. So I live in Bondi, run my own business there. So a lot of the training has to be sort of based around that. Mornings I'll be at nice and early. Usually there's a 4 in the alarm, and then the afternoon I usually get a double session in. I think most people get 2 to 3 a day anyway, but most of my long stuff's done on the weekend. And then Wednesday I usually work from home, so I can get a long ride in there too. I'm coached by Clint Rawlings from Coffs Harbour, so I'm an RPG athlete. Essentially, during a big block, I think my weekly kilometres would be around 20-ish Ks of swimming, between 400 and to 500 Ks of riding and then 80 to 100 Ks worth of running with a couple of gym sessions in there too. So hopefully next year this is going to be a little bit more volume added in, which would help. I got into the sport pretty late and only a few years after that I was in racing with the pros. So I think if you're sort of stuck in that post-sport, not sure what you want to do, I think it's great to get into triathlon. It's a good sport, it's an easy sport to join into a club. There's many people doing it, especially in Sydney. You see the tri clubs out everywhere. So I think the best thing for you if you wanted to do one would join up to a tri club and give it a crack. You may as well do your first one and see what it takes you.